"Where's the tissue box?" Jennifer Aniston asked, and so did pretty much everyone else. It's been 17 years since Rachel got off that plane, and yesterday, a 2-minute trailer for the one where they all got back together, finally, premiered. Tears of joy and powerful nostalgia poured in. The 6 stars were visibly moved, overwhelmed by emotion and a decade of memories. But that wasn't the only thing people noticed. Tune in to find out why fans around the world are deeply worried about Matthew Perry. When the trailer dropped last night, it felt like a cathartic moment for many. We watched the cast recreate an iconic scene from the sitcom and finally try to settle one of TV's perennial debates. Were Ross and Rachel really on a break? The actors wandered the apartment sets, traded memories, and quizzed each other about plot lines. Yet the segment wasn't all laughter. In a particularly tender moment, Jennifer Aniston comforts a tearful Matthew Perry. At one point, he became emotional, his voice breaking as he said, "Yep, I'm gonna cry now," and Jen placed a hand on his shoulder. That's friendship in action. After the Peoples, new interviews circulated. Concerns about Matthew's well-being grew. Several viewers pointed out what they perceived as slurred speech and an unusual gaze while he answered whether he ever took a memento from the show. "I stole the cookie jar that had the clock on it," he said, with an emphasized shush at the start of stole. His manner and some oddly phrased comments surprised many. "When Matthew Perry was about to cry, I was bawling," one person wrote. "Hate to say it, but I'm sad and scared like hell for Matthew Perry," another fan posted. Others defended him. "Matthew Perry has gone through so much. Don't undermine his confidence by saying he looks this or that," one supporter commented. "Perry has never hidden his battles. Let's rewind and look at his life from the start." His acting career began in 1988 with a small role in A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon alongside River Phoenix. After several guest roles, he landed Chandler Bing and became an instant hit. On the surface, it seemed he had everything. The redo, first time he appeared on People's cover, he sent it to a former teacher who had once told him he'd never do anything meaningful if he kept joking around. Clearly, that prediction was off. He built a career making people laugh, swoon, and enjoy themselves. But beneath that success, he was fighting his biggest battle. All the superficial things about fame came true, he told People in 2002 about the show's success. "I was naive enough to think it would fulfill all aspects of my life." Witty and sarcastic like Chandler, Perry struggled with alcohol even before Friends. 3 years after the series began, he had a jet ski accident and was prescribed Vicodin. He soon became dependent on painkillers. "From the start, I liked how it made me feel, and I wanted to get more." That year, he entered a rehab center in Minnesota and completed a 28-day Saturday program, but sobriety didn't hold. In 2000, he relapsed and spent 2 weeks in the hospital for pancreatitis, losing 20 pounds. Even that didn't stop his drinking. Despite pleas from loved ones, he didn't seek help until 2001. "You can't tell anyone to get sober. It has to come from you," he explained. Although he recalled being out of control and very unhealthy, Perry insisted he wouldn't drink, while working, even if he frequently arrived hungover. He can't remember filming some episodes, including Phoebe's surrogacy, Ross and Emily's wedding, and Monica and Chandler in Vegas. "I think the answer is, I don't remember 3 years of it," he told BBC Radio 2 in 2016. "Somewhere between season 3 and 6, I was a little out of it." This from an actor who auditioned for Chandler without a script. He knew the pilot cold. How did that happen? Perry recognized aspects of the role in himself while helping a friend. Coincidence or fate? Chandler adopted several of Perry's traits, and even a few lines. Perry was the only main cast member who sat in with the writers. He was so quick and funny that the directors often used his suggestions. It might be surprising, but the character and the man had a lot in common. His parents divorced when he was young. Awkwardness with women was part of his real-life persona. And while Monica's worst Thanksgiving mishap wasn't exactly true, Perry did lose the top of his right middle finger when his grandfather accidentally closed a car door on it. Overall, Perry came across as someone who could use humor to diffuse situations, and he still does. In 5th grade, at a school attended by children of ambassadors and politicians, he once beat up a classmate who later became Canada's Prime Minister. Perry told Jimmy Kimmel he felt terrible about it. It became a quirky anecdote when Justin Trudeau later joked on Twitter about wanting a rematch. Ever Thedry-humored gentleman, Perry politely declined. Backed by many friends, Perry's influence improved more than just Chandler. Remember Rachel's dramatic Season 6 boyfriend, the Love Machine? That role belongs to Bruce Willis, who earned an Emmy for playing Paul. How did they land big names as guests? Brad Pitt appeared too, though he was married to Jennifer Aniston at the time. Perry's The Whole Nine Yards co-star lost a bet and agreed to show up on Friends for free. Julia Roberts' cameo wasn't accidental either. Reports say Perry asked her to guest star, and she agreed on the amusing condition that he write a paper on quantum physics, which he apparently did, and faxed to her the next day. Perry and Roberts had such on-set chemistry that they briefly dated afterwards. Before quietly moving on, he maintained appearances for years during Friends. In February 2001, while filming Serving Sarah with Elizabeth Hurley, he realized that if he kept living as he had, there wouldn't be much of a life left. Perry believes that confronting addiction isn't initially about bravery. It's more about survival. Getting honest with himself was crucial. He noted that while loved ones can offer support, ultimately, you must choose sobriety yourself. You ultimately surrender and realize that you need help, and you ask for it, he told Oprah. After pulling through, Perry used his experience to help others. In 2013, he converted his Malibu home into a sober living residence and worked to raise $45 million for drug courts. He liked showing people that someone who struggled can recover. He told The Hollywood Reporter that being on TV sometimes helps people listen, and he tried to use that platform. In 2015, he received the Phoenix Rising Award from Phoenix House. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life and a lot of wonderful accolades, but the best thing about me is that if an alcoholic comes up to me and says, "Will you help me stop drinking?" So I will say, "Yes, I know how to do that," he told the outlet. Perry House supported recovering addicts until 2016, when he sold it due to high costs, hoping to relocate, a plan that ultimately failed and led to the center's closure. That same year, he turned his experiences into a stage play, The End of Longing. After modest attempts at writing and producing earlier, this dark comedy, in which he played a heightened version of himself, premiered in London's West End in Fi Joye 2016 and then off-Broadway in 2017. It flew out of me, this play. I finished it in about 10 days. I guess I had something to say, he told Variety. Contrary to the belief that people can't change, the Odd Couple star insists they do, and he sees change happening daily, likely including his own. He faced health issues in 2018, fortunately unrelated to substance abuse. Preferring a low profile, Perry's appearance in Jennifer Aniston's first Instagram post in October 2019 delighted fans. He joined social media himself in February 2020, offering sharp humor and warmth, continuing to make people laugh. In December 2020, He released a limited clothing line inspired by himself, with proceeds benefiting the WHO. We hope Matthew is doing well, and that the emotional days and filming simply overwhelmed him. It feels right to close with the words of our resident paleontology professor, David Schwimmer. Over the years, we've all struggled with different obstacles and challenges, and I think in those times, it's been nice to reach out and touch base and have a call. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.